Hi, I'm Darren and welcome to New Factory Classics. Today we're going to break down X2, X-Men United. Welcome back to the Foxverse. We begin when Nightcrawler is making a visit to the White House. He's here to warp around security and attempt to murder the president, but he flees when he is shot. It was interesting to see a president under the age of 80, but that's the magic of filmmaking, folks. Cut to Wolverine searching through Canada to find his past. Look how young our boy looks. No multiverse, no time travel, just a cigar and pointy hair. The teachers of Xavier's school have taken the kids on a tour of a museum because they refuse to pay for a tour guide to do it. Jean Grey is having trouble controlling her powers lately. She's hearing the thoughts of every person and is super overwhelmed. I hope she can get it handled soon though. We wouldn't want her to become a murderous ultra being. Pyro, Iceman, and Rogue are relaxing in the food court until they get bullied by a bunch of kids. Pyro attempts to light one of the bullies on fire, but Professor X stops him. He doesn't want a bunch of attention brought to the mutants, and even worse, he doesn't want anyone to go against his pro-bullying stance. William Stryker, a government official, is meeting with the president and Senator Kelly, who recovered from dying in the first movie. Stryker wants to raid the Xavier School as he believes those mutants were the ones behind the president's recent assassination attempt. Logan returns from his trip to Canada. He didn't find out much about his past, but he did get to enjoy a bunch of Tim Hortons. William Stryker tortures Magneto, who he has in prison, to find out more information about the Xavier School. Whenever I torture someone, I always make sure it's a super mutant with incredible powers. Professor X uses Cerebro to find where Nightcrawler has fled to. He can use it to find and attach to any human or mutant on the planet, so even he can see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Mystique changes into William Stryker's assistant. She copies the woman's handprint in order to break into his office. She's trying to find out where Magneto is being held. See, she has the ability to change her handprint to match anyone in the world that she walks by. She's incredibly good at memorizing. Storm and Jean track down Nightcrawler. He's a German devout Christian who was forced to attempt to kill the president. We find out that William Stryker's son once attended the Xavier School, but he wanted Xavier to fix his mutant abilities. But Xavier just taught the kid to embrace his mutant abilities. Storm and Jean Grey went to go get Nightcrawler, and Cyclops and Professor X went to go visit Magneto. This left Logan alone to watch all the kids in the school. While visiting Magneto, Professor X and Cyclops are knocked out and kidnapped. Stryker's team invades the school, straight up shooting kids in their beds. Between this and the secret base in Canada, I can see why taxes are so high in the Foxverse. Wolverine is finally allowed to go a little crazy. Not too crazy because it's just PG-13, but he ends up able to kill a few people attacking the school, until he encounters William Stryker, a mysterious man from his past. Stryker successfully robs parts of Cerebro and kidnaps 6 kids from the school. What an incredibly badass way to get back at your child's former teacher, shooting a bunch of his students and stealing from his school. Mystique seduces one of Magneto's guards and shoots him up with a bunch of iron. He still got farther with her though than John Stamos. Stryker has kidnapped Professor X and he reveals that he's going to have his son make Professor X do his bidding. I'll tell you, season 0 of Succession is absolutely crazy. Magneto notices that there's extra iron in his security guard's blood, so he pulls it out of his body and uses it to escape prison. Mystique knows exactly where to find him, though, as she looks to the first light of the coming of the 5th day. Pyro, Rogue, Iceman, and Logan are hiding out at Iceman's parents' house. Unfortunately, his little brother hates mutants and calls the cops on them. The cops charge in and shoot Logan directly in the head. Pyro goes crazy and starts lighting cops on fire. One thing we can all agree upon is that Iceman's little brother sucks. Storm, Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler pick up the group, though because Pyro just attacked 20 cops, they are followed by government fighter jets. Storm and Jean may be teachers, superheroes, and part-time mutant rights activists, but they're not great fighter pilots, so they end up getting shot down. Before crashing into the ground, though, they're caught by Magneto, who was there, randomly, in that forest. Randomly, he was there to catch the plane in the middle of the forest randomly. He caught them because he was there for some reason. The team decides that they must go to Alkaline Lake. That's where Professor X and Cyclops are being held, and that's where Wolverine will find more information about his past. It turns out Stryker is going to use a second Cerebro that he made to force Professor X to target all mutants with his mind and kill all mutants. And I'll tell you, that's still only the second craziest thing I've ever seen hidden in a dam. Wolverine decides it's his time to make his move on Jean, and he kisses her. but she declines his offer. She's in love with Cyclops, and he's the good boy. She can't handle a bad boy like Wolverine. She specifically says that to him. Well, I'll tell you what, honey, it's been 22 years, and Deadpool and Wolverine is coming out, and there's no movie about Cyclops. Mystique, pretending to be Wolverine, breaks into the dam, and then changes into Stryker to open the doors to let all the other mutants in. Stryker activates his plan to have his son force Professor X to exterminate all mutants. Get it? Exterminate. Because there's 800 X's in this movie. A mind-controlled Cyclops attempts to kill Jean Grey. He keeps trying to shoot her with his lasers. Eventually she stops him and gets him to snap out of it. But he did just try and kill you. I wonder, which one was the bad boy, Jean? Wolverine discovers the adamantite surgical room. That's where he discovers that his bones were grafted with adamantite. Unfortunately for him, Lady Deathstrike and William Stryker show up. She's just like him. She is a super healer that can grow out her fingernails, and if you recognize her from anything, she used to star on Wednesday. Let's be clear, she beats the crap out of him, but eventually he gets the upper hand, injects her with a bunch of adamantite, and for the second time in this movie, somebody else poisons somebody's blood with liquid metal. Xavier begins targeting every single mutant on the planet, and attempts to kill them all. Before he can succeed though, Magneto stops him, changes it to humans, and Xavier begins to kill every human on the planet. And I'll tell you, this is going to be horrible to my subscriber account. Magneto and Mystique peace out. They end up taking Pyro with him because frankly he was more of a villain. At the last minute, Storm and Nightcrawler warp into the room and stop Xavier from killing every human. They warp out with him to save him from the upcoming dam, but they leave Stryker's son in there because he's crazy and let's just let him drown. It's time for the X-Men to leave. So they end up trying to go through the spillway, but that's been shut down by Logan so they don't drown. The structural integrity of the dam is failing, just like the general infrastructure of the United States. It's time to flee in the Blackbird, but it won't take off, so Jean goes to buy them time and holds off the water. The Blackbird finally takes off, but Jean Grey is drowned by the dam breaking. No human or mutant could survive that much water hitting them, and it's not like she could come back to life. It's not like she's a phoenix. The President of the United States decides to make an announcement to the world. All human life was almost wiped out, so he's coming up with a plan on how to deal with the mutants. Before he finishes though, Xavier freezes time and warps everyone in to talk to him. He lets the president know that it was William Stryker and Magneto that attempted to kill all the mutants and kill all the humans, and he needs to exercise restraint. Yes, restraint coming from the man that almost killed all the humans and almost killed all the mutants. But the day has been saved, Stryker and Magneto have been stopped, yet the superheroes are in mourning. The world can rest easy, though, because of the X-Men. And now I have seen it, so you don't have to. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.